Welcome back, Devils fans, and we have just dropped an absolute stinker in Raleigh, losing to the Carolina Hurricanes by a score of 3-2. And honestly, I think the score makes the game seem closer than it was. Unfortunately, the trend continues. The sixth straight game and 33rd, I believe, out of 46 overall games where the New Jersey Devils do not score first. That is almost unfathomable. With the lineup we have, the fact that we've given up the first goal in 33 of 46 games, that is a pretty wild stat on the season, that one that I could have never seen coming, honestly. I mean, that's, wow. It would be hard to replicate that in future seasons, honestly. Pretty insane stuff. Devils go down 1-0 before you blink your eyes, and eventually down 3-0. We pull Dawes. We challenge the goal for the high stick. That's declined. The goal doesn't get overturned. Vitek comes in, faces a power play. But down 3-0. Devils get one late from Dowling. Just called up from Utica, makes it 3-1. And then Bratt got that one there with the second or 1.4 seconds left to make it 3-2. But overall, bad outing. And it's just, you know, this season has just been a roller coaster of highs and lows. Coming off of the Mikey McLeod and Cal Foot news, coming into this game, I'd have to imagine it has some sort of emotional impact on the other players and in the locker room. On the road in Carolina, and Lindy Ruff gets hit on the head with a puck and leaves the game and does not return for the third period. Folks, you cannot make this shit up. Our team is so injured that our coach was injured while on the bench. Our coach was injured while on the bench. The 23-24 New Jersey Devils, nobody is safe. Assistant coaches, trainers, everybody should be wearing full gear, bubble wrap helmets. No one is safe from the injuries. Who knows who's going to get struck next? And at this point, you know, in the last video, I said when it rains, it pours. And now I feel like when it pours, it monsoons. And right now we are in the middle of monsoon season, and I don't know if there's any relief in sight. We are in the middle of the full monsoon, and at this juncture, I'm afraid that we're either a Tom Fitzgerald dogfighting ring or David Blitzer Ponzi scheme away from just it all crumbling and completely falling apart. I mean, at this, the things that have happened on the season, you could never write in a Hollywood script. Injuries and lawsuits, and it's just been a wild ride. I am afraid for what is next. Bad game for the boys, and I'm out here, you know, with my drink again. And cheers to everybody. This is a really smooth blend. I highly recommend it. This video brought to you by Don Fulano, the Anejo version tequila. Very, very silky smooth. Highly recommended. Much needed in my household while watching New Jersey Devils hockey. And yeah, we go to Carolina. Someone we're looking up at it in the standings, and we drop a horrible one. And I don't know. I'm almost at a loss for words here, honestly. I think even though we only scored the 2 goals, it did feel like Dawes had an absolute terrible performance. And again, this is for SST 6601. Sir, Vitek held it down. Even though he wasn't really tested, he didn't give up any goals. Vitek Vanacek, your boy, he did enough tonight, you know, to keep us in the game after we were badly down. But, you know, Dawes is another young, inexperienced guy, and he's shown signs of brilliance at times. But in the end, I think that, you know, unfortunately, he's too young and inexperienced as well. And so we're at a crossroads here. I would say this All-Star break is going to be very telling. We are at the crossroads on the season, and Fitzy needs to make a firm decision, draw a line in the sand. Are you giving up on this 23-24 season, or are you going to try to make some sort of moves to keep us in it? I will tell you that doing nothing in stagnation at this point, we will slowly slip out of the race, and it'll be another season lost, another season down the tubes that was so promising at the beginning of the year, And, I'm not going to accept the injury nonsense as the answer. Obviously, yes, we've been greatly impacted by injuries, but we still have, even if you look at some of the forward, like the lines tonight, we still have good players in the lineup. And it's unfortunate that they can't get it going without Jack, seemingly. We can't score goals consistently, especially when VTech doesn't start. And our defense is very young and inexperienced, and they get exposed a lot, and we give up crazy chances against. That's just the reality. And so even with Connor Hellebuck in there, yes, I believe he'd be doing much better than our goalies are doing now, but we are just giving up quality chances in bunches, and even the best goalies in the world are going to struggle at points with those kind of opportunities coming their way on a nightly basis. And this New Jersey Devils defense has been giving up great chances all year long, and it's just one of the subplots on the year. So at this juncture, I still am screaming from the mountaintops, we need a goalie. And I thought I would never say this at this point. All logic and my eye test be damned. At this point, I start VTech every game. I never thought I'd say this. We do not score goals for the other goalies. It just does not happen. And so I think we just need to find a way to, in VTech starts, hopefully get out to a couple goal lead and then not squander it. I mean, in that last Vegas Golden Knights game, we were up 3-1, and then we had to claw back after we gave up 4 goals in a row, and they were up 5-3, and then we had to come back from behind and win. But once you're up 3-1, I mean, old school Devils hockey for the dynasty years with Dano, Stevens, Niedermayer, Marty, if we're up 3-1 at any point in the game, I don't even know if this is a possible stat to look up, but in games during the dynasty years, the Devils are up 3-1. I have to believe our winning percentage, we had to win 94% of those games. Like, trademark Devils, you have a 2-goal lead. We weren't squandering that. And so now I think we kind of have to morph into that mentality where once we're playing this wide open pond hockey type style. Once we get a couple goal lead, I think we have to find a way to kind of reel it in and tighten up a little bit and preserve the lead. Because once you're up 2 goals, old school Devils hockey, that's a win. Nowadays, it's like, it's a crapshoot. Oh, man, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. I'm devastated. The team brings me on high highs and very low lows. I care about this stuff way more than I should. If you're watching this video, you're probably in the same boat as me. And, you live and die with this team. And tonight was a bad night. Really bad night for the boys. And I think Fitzy has to do something at this All-Star break. I'm hoping he does something. It doesn't have to be a blockbuster, but just something to give the boys something to believe in. I'd have to imagine that it's rather dejecting if you're a player and you're kind of right in the thick of it. If the GM doesn't make any moves and basically just says, throwing up his hands in the air, it is what it is on the season. It's kind of shitty. Let's take a look at the standings. I mean, God, there's just so many bad teams in the division that we're still right in the thick of it. Yeah. So right now, the Devils with 51 points. Toronto holding down the first wild card spot with 56 points with the same amount of games played. Detroit with 48 games played has 55 points. So they have 4 points more than us, and we have 2 games in hand. So that's a close one. And then the real opportunity, and it could be now, the Flyers are coming back down to earth. They just lost Carter Hart for probably the season. As we take a look at the Metro, the Flyers are in third in the Metro with 56 points, and we have 3 games in hand on them. So, only 5 points behind with 3 games in hand. We're right there as well. And so regardless of how low some of us get, myself included, I'm guilty of this, after these horrific losses, the reality is we are still right in the race. And that's why, to me, it's even more important that Fitzy shows confidence in the group and just does something. It doesn't have to be a blockbuster, but it's got to be something a little more than what they did today. It's got to be something more than what they did today with claiming Nick DeSimone from Calgary. I mean, great. That could help. But I'm looking for a little more veteran presence in the room and on the ice. And I hope that he does it. We're going to learn a lot about where Fitzy truly believes this team is in the next couple weeks, because if All-Star break comes and goes and he's still kind of putzing around waiting to see, I don't want to wait until it's too late. And if we're waiting like closer to the deadline, at that point, we could have slid out of it. Again, I believe we're going to be right there in the thick of it till the end just because of the parity in the league, especially the conference. No one's running away with anything, and it just seems like a lot of teams are kind of Jekyll and Hyde this year with ups and downs just like us. Flyers looked hot. Now they're lost 4 in a row. You know, teams get hot, they get cold. And so it's going to be a dogfight till the very end. And we really need to get points against the people we're looking up at the standings, especially in the division and the conference. I mean, these are all super important games. And tonight was a really good opportunity that we let slip through our fingers. Fitzy needs to do something and do it soon. Defenseman, goalie, and I would take a gritty forward as well. I don't think that's as pressing as the defenseman and goalie, in my opinion, but they're all equally important. And again, if he's not going to do anything at all, just do something. You can't do nothing. He's got to do something minor. And I think there are minor moves there. I'll make a separate video about this. I had a couple ideas in my head that could be fan pipe dreams, but they do seem to make sense for us and another club. Given the right scenario, I think it could be beneficial and a win-win for both teams. And so I think deals like that should be explored. At this point, I'm not expecting the big splash goalie like Markstrom, Gibson, Soros, anything like that. It seems like all these GMs are high, huffing glue and asking for, you know, Fitz's kidney, one of his kids, Holtz, Seamus Casey, Dawson Mercer, and Jack Hughes and his puppy. I mean, they're just asking for way too much. You're not going to get all that for a goalie, especially some of these guys that are, you know, a little bit older. I would give up the most lucrative package for Soros, being that I think he is the best of the crop that's been rumored and also the youngest. But I don't want to get completely taken and mortgage the future for, you know, an older goalie that may or may not improve the club dramatically. So with all that, rough game to watch tonight. Again, I try to stay a little more even keeled and not get super down after these games, because the reality is we're still right in the thick of it in both the wild card race and to finish top 3 in the division. But it's just another reminder of we are close and something needs to be done. Hopefully over the All-Star break, Fitz and his working phone that he told us about is busy texting or, you know, phone calls, FaceTime, however these GMs like to communicate. Hopefully it's working overtime. I hope he has a big plan with a lot of minutes and data so he can take care of what he's got to do. And hopefully we get some relief in the form of a defenseman, goalie, or, you know, even that gritty forward. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the game. Not a lot of great things to take away from this one, but, you know, Dowling called up, gets on the score sheet. Luke Hughes gets another assist. You know, hopefully he's at least nominated for the Calder when it's all said and done. Bedard being out for an extended period of time can possibly help him. But it was an ugly one. Let me know what you thought in the comments. And, you know, I'll be back tomorrow. Oh, we still, on this day, we also still did not get our Stadium Series jersey revealed. So supposedly that's tomorrow at 11 a.m. I'll be making a video about that if it is truly released. You know, not to keep beating a dead horse with this one, but the league really dropped the ball on that. If you drop that Black Friday or really any time in the first couple weeks of December, it would have been on every Devils fan list, young and old, Stadium Series jersey, Stadium Series merch. But, you know, the league just fumbled the bag on that. Typical NHL. Those All-Star jerseys are atrocious. Oh, my God. You know, I kind of like Bieber and Drew and his whole company. Everybody's trying to do those jerseys are ass. Ass. Those jerseys are ugly. All right, I'm wrapping up here, guys. Check out the Don Filano and Neho. It's delicious. And talk to you folks in the comments. I think that's it. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.